Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Footy Show daily. We are live on Patreon. So if you want to react to anything we're talking about, please feel free in the comments. We will read them out. If you're not watching on Patreon and you're watching on YouTube, then get over to Patreon if you want to start watching this show live. If not, just thanks for joining us. The link is in the description. Or if you do want to join us, Baz, the first round of the coronavirus tests have happened, and apparently 6 players from 3 clubs have tested positive straight away and will have to quarantine for a week.
I think that was something that was always likely to happen. I think with this virus, we don't know. You know, we know a lot of people are asymptomatic, so we don't know. You know how many are like that. How many of us in How many of us in general are like that?
Yeah.
Are carrying these. You know, there seems to be, you know, part of this virus where you can have it and not know anything about it. You're fine, very mild, and then you get mild, and then moderate, and then obviously there's the people who are really ill with it. So I think just by giving the mass number of tests which you've done across Premier League players, it's not that much of a surprise to me personally that a few have come back with positive tests.
Do you think people will be just surprised at the fact that there will be players out there who feel fit and healthy and yet they've come back positive? Would you think that'd be a wake-up call to some people, that it's not necessarily about people who have symptoms, who feel ill, who are coughing or whatever else, and that there are players out there who've returned to training, will be due to return to training, gone for this test, and suddenly they're like, oh, I've got it. Do you think that might wake a few people up to this?
I think it'll scare a few people.
Yeah.
I think for some people they'll take it as a positive in terms of, oh, it's not necessarily, you know what I mean, you can get it and be okay with it. But I think a lot of people will be like, well, that's quite worrying if there's no signs of it.
Yeah. Because I was thinking, obviously, Troy Deeney's come out and said he's not returning. He said he's got a very young baby who's got a few lung issues, and he's like, there's not enough money in the world. And I just worry, and I just wonder if more footballers knowing this might be like, because a lot of footballers will come back to the environment thinking it's safe, it's a clean environment, there's, you know, there shouldn't be any problems. But I just wonder whether a few footballers might be like, oh, they've got it. You know, does that mean that anyone at any time in the dressing room could possibly be carrying it? And it's okay because we're all young, fit, professional sportsmen. But if I get it and I don't know, and I, like Troy Deeney saying, if I take it home and I pass it on to someone who's vulnerable, I just wonder how many. Don't get me wrong, I'm not someone saying that it's going to stop the game. I just wonder how many more players might go, oh, I didn't realise that I could be carrying, or someone else could be carrying, and take it home to someone who's vulnerable.
But I guess that's what we're all dealing with in general life, aren't we? You know, we have to go to the shops to get stuff. You know, and
no, but a lot of it, I would suppose, is necessary. Some of these, like Troy Deeney saying, playing football is not necessary.
No,
for him.
Of course, but there'll be people who've got to go to work, haven't they? People have got to go to work. Troy Deeney worked as a security guard or worked in an office or whatever in his family. You've got to come back to. He'd have to go, wouldn't he? I'm not having a go with Troy Deeney because I'm of the opinion, I don't believe if any player turns around and goes, I don't want to do it. Fine, for me. That's fine. No one can say to those players it's 100% safe. So therefore, if there's 10% of them that don't want to play, I've got no issue with it. Of course I haven't, because health comes first, and a lot of these players aren't going, I'm scared myself for my own health. It's for the people who they live with, they're worried about. So no problem with Troy Deeney not wanting to play, and his kid, the health of his child comes first. Football's a secondary thing, said it all along, haven't we? Wake up call, yeah. I guess it was the same when the positive tests are getting recorded in higher numbers because more people are getting tested. It's natural, isn't it? We've all been places. Okay, we do it very sparingly, and we do it when we need to, and the rest of the time we're at home. But these 6 players could have got this through a family member or whatever. So it does just shine the light on the fact that you can't have it without knowing, and that's an issue, obviously, to be worried about. But then I suppose for some players it'll be like, well, we're getting tested regularly, so we'll know. Do you know what I mean? And it won't be the training grounds that are an issue. It'll be the players coming into that environment that are an issue. So I guess the more people he tests, the more players we've had to test, and the medical staff and everything, they'll be able to keep some track of it, I guess. And that's the only thing they can do, isn't it? Don't forget, you know, we're looking here and saying there's 6 players tested. Don't forget, we had a situation last week where Dynamo Dresden didn't play their game because if quite a few of their squad had, or 3 players and technical staff had it, so they had to quarantine for 2 weeks. There's already been players back during the training process who had coronavirus at different clubs who had to self-isolate for a week. So this has happened in Germany, so we shouldn't really be surprised that we're having it here at the moment.
No, it's better to happen now at the beginning of the process, because it is the beginning of the process. You know, it's for people to go back into training before they get into the groups. You know, no matter how big or small they are, it's better that they know they can go and isolate, get over it, and then come back to training. And I just wonder how many. Just as I said, how many of those players now will turn around and go, oh, I didn't realise that. And you know, whether Troy Deeney, just for one, he's obviously come out and said it, whether he will now stay away for the whole period of time. You know, and if more people like him do that, would that devalue the competition? Because you're Watford now, you're thinking, well, hang on, there's a possibility that we're going to lose our talisman. We mightn't be able to play at home. We certainly can't play home in front of fans. We're battling to stay up in the Premier League. Why are we putting ourselves through, or, you know, should we really be putting ourselves through this? And again, it just adds that next layer, doesn't it, to it? Where you know, teams will start saying, hang on, we feel like this isn't fair. It's a different set of rules from the ones we were playing at.
Well, it is, and there's no way around that, is there? There's no way to go, well, we're doing this and this will make it fairer. Regardless of anything that happens, teams aren't in the relegation zone because they played they've won games at home that where maybe the crowd have helped us. Everton, you know, maybe our crowd helped us win some games at Goodison where otherwise we might have been dragged in, and now we played the last 9 games without the crowd. So it's a different set of rules anyway. So be it if players turn around and go, I'm not playing. It gives someone else in your squad the opportunity. I get what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. I mean, we had this a few weeks ago with Dean Smith, Aston Villa manager, saying, I've got 2 players who won't be playing during these last 9 games. Villa, the second bottom, needs, you know, so he's already without 2 players. You know, how many more are going to pop up? Like I said, we might end up with 10% of players not wanting to play. That's 50 players on average, you know, not playing these last 9 games or whatever. It's not going to stop the competition, in my opinion, because I think clubs will go, well, we'll get him and he'll play. Because we've seen something today. Malaga have put employment notice or unemployment notices out. A lot of their players now are going to be, you know, contracts are going to be terminated because they were struggling anyway. I think they'd accepted that they were probably going to have to make measures anyway financially this summer, but this has just been the tipping point. So that's how a lot of clubs are sailing close to the win. So that's why, let's have it right, that's why the games are getting played. The games aren't, people talk about integrity of the league. There's no integrity. People aren't asked about that. People at the top, there's not the integrity of the league, because if there was integrity at the top rather than money, this league wouldn't even be getting considered until September. So, and that's at the earliest. Yeah. So money will override it. It's the same argument people say we shouldn't play it until fans are back in the stadium. Clubs ain't going to sit on their hands for a year. Because if we returned, I've seen an estimate yesterday, if we returned, there'd be about 30 professional clubs left in 12 months. Ours wouldn't be one of them. unless and Liverpool wouldn't be another one. And you know, I think there's been like PSG probably be all right, Man City and Man United, but there ain't that many. Arsenal certainly wouldn't be one. So that's what they're looking at. It's there's no right answer to it because the right answer is don't play the games because people are dying. But when we're not on that, we're talking about the.
Obviously, it's the relegated teams, relegation.
Oh, of course.
Teams that are obviously going to have the major issue with this. And
every week that goes by, Bournemouth are under risk of having no players. 10 Bournemouth players are out of contract on June 30th. Are they? Is Ryan Fraser really going to play an extra 3 weeks for Bournemouth?
It depends what his own personal circumstances are, aren't they? You know, whether he's got another team. You don't know because ultimately he might have a contract with another team, and that team might say, "We're happy for you." I don't know. That's the whole point.
No, what I'm saying.
I don't know.
So for a club like Bournemouth, they're staring down a barrel of a gun, so to speak, relegation-wise, and yet.
It's the integrity of the player then, isn't it? It's the integrity of the player. If Bournemouth are in a relegation spot and suddenly one of their best players says, "Sorry lads, I'm not really that interested," then if we were signing, I'd be like, you know what, I'd rather he just played the season.
Say he carried on, played the last 4 games and then does an ACL.
Oh, but then he could have done that. I suppose he could have done that,
of course,
at any time.
But you would look at that and go, oh, well, hang on, well, we're still going to buy him and he's out for a year or 9 months. Well, hang on.
That'll come down to personal.
And then you've got Dean Henderson at Sheffield United. Contract expires June 30th. They're 3 points behind United with a game in hand. Behind United and turn around and go, we're not extending it for the... Yeah, it's all very well going, well, he should be allowed to. He signed a loan deal for the season. He's going back to you anyway, he's your player. But then they're in a race with Sheffield United.
Yeah, it all comes down to... I would actually like the Premier League to ratify those contracts till the end of the season, rather than the
then
date.
Then take the risk on the Premier League.
Yeah, I just think that, for me personally, I think that the players should play to the end of the season. The June the 30th is just an arbitrary date. It's just something that's been thrown in there because that's when, we've discussed this before, that's when this season was due to finish, and July the 1st is always the start.
That's your contract.
No, I understand that, but that's why I think the Premier League I'd like them to rubber stamp that and say those contracts are for the rest of the season, not because it's an extraordinary circumstances, but that's up to them. Steve Kelly says 748 players and staff tested, only 6 test positive. A lot of people will make a meal out of this. Personally, looking around the league worldwide, this is a lot lower than most leagues around the world. I personally think German football has been decent. My opinion is if players don't want to play, that's fine. I'm pretty sure there are players who will want to play instead, but then players should not be punished for not wanting to play. No, I agree with that, and I understand how many people have been, with the testing and that. I just wonder whether it just depends on whether players were alerted beforehand, saying, there's a possibility a few of you will already have it, where you're all right with that, and they'll already know the estimates. I would imagine.
I said to you yesterday that one of the things they said was that one of the estimates is 19 million of us have already had it. Or could have it.
It'd be nice to know, wouldn't it?
Oh, of course it would.
It'd be nice to know. I'd like to know.
That's what the antibody testing.
Because it'd take if we all knew, I think it'd take a lot of stress out the world, wouldn't it? If we already knew and they said, well, you can't get it.
A third of you is immune already.
Yeah, if you can't get it again this season, COVID season, like the flu, then it would make going back to normal life a lot easier, wouldn't it?
Of course it would.
Steve Kelly also says, I think football is nearly ready to come back. Matthew Barry says, I worry for Troy Deeney being so vocal about not playing. If Watford get relegated, you'll be remembered for being the captain that didn't play rather than the father who put his family first. Depends which world you live in, Matt, to be honest. I do understand what you're saying. I think if anyone feels like that, then I certainly don't want to sort of be part of that world.
If he was Everton's captain saying that, I wouldn't hold it against him.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I'd just go, well...
It's his son.
Listen, we love football. It's our job. We love it. And we love doing this, and we love part of it. And I was saying the other day, I love it. watched all the German games, and me and Ped are slightly different. but I didn't watch Werder Bremen. Sorry, I didn't watch Werder Bremen. And we love it, but it's a game, and I would never criticise a footballer for putting his family first, ever. If it's not a case of, I want better contract, more money, if you give me 100 grand a week, I'll play. That, shoot him down by all means for that kind of thing. But I'm coming out and going, hang on a sec, my son is actually got respiratory problems at the moment. I ain't going to put any more, I'm not going to risk that. It's the kid's 5
And ultimately,
old,
I think that's why teams have been we're trying to take relegation off the table. Ultimately, because if teams down there already knew a handful of players weren't going to play, and that's probably why they wanted it taken off the table.
I mean, I've said this before. I just don't. I get it, and they all make a really valid point. And maybe the line of, I think the Norwich, something to do with Norwich, was like, I don't mind getting relegated, but we're not going down if Leeds are getting promoted without playing. Yeah. That I get that, and that would be the way that I'd say, well, we'll go down as long as Leeds play and get up. Otherwise, take it off the table. I'm just a little bit like that with playing a season out and giving Liverpool a trophy and awarding European places there, but the bottom of the league doesn't. There's no jeopardy for it. But saying that, if the only way to do this thing, because I personally don't know how the Championship's coming back. I really don't. It's not even. I've not seen anything about it other than, we'll have another meeting.
They're due to start testing next week, I think.
I just don't see how that can happen. I really don't, because I'm not convinced.
They're following the Premier League's lead, aren't they?
I'm not convinced that we're going to play games at Goodison.
No, and I don't think we should play games at Goodison.
So therefore, if you're not, right, if we're going with the neutral venue rule, how the hell are you going to find 23 venues to play neutral?
That's the problem, that the Championship are clearly following the guidelines of the Premier League, and they will do. And there'll be people in the Championship pushing the Premier League to have the games at their own grounds, because if they can have them at their own grounds, and the Championship can turn around and say, then we can have them at our own grounds, and it makes it a lot easier. Don't forget, this is a time thing. We've been saying this from the start. How it's week to week, things are changing very fast, and whether you like it or not, don't get me wrong, I'm sitting watching news reports of people sitting on beaches at the weekend complaining that there's other people on the beach. No, genuinely. There was a woman, there was a family sitting on the beach going, I can't believe how many people on this beach. And I'm thinking, you're on the beach. Why have you got more right to be on this beach than someone else has got a right to be on the beach? So we're living in a world now where the doors have almost been flung over, and as much as we all tut, a lot of us are taking advantage of it. As much as we look at other people going, why are you here? If you're there. So from one week to the next, it's changing. And I we sort of had this little discussion off air the other week, me, you and Paul, wasn't it? Paul Machin. And we were saying, like, if they suddenly open the doors to football stadiums, how many people do you think would go? And I actually said, well, you know what? A 20-year-old me probably would go, yeah, I'm going to match. And we said that the week when they had the derby on, and we were both sitting here going, there should not be a game happening this weekend. But we both said we'd go. Because it was like, well, no one, if they're not saying we can't go, then we'd go. Even though we know it's not safe, we both would have gone that game. Because we're stupid. No. Because that's what we're like as people. People, this is what they say about the lockdown, right? When they were like, can't believe how many followed the rules. We live in a country of like, people who do toe the line pretty much. But it works the other way as well. The minute someone says to you, you can do that thing, it's not safe, but you can do it. We go, oh, you said we can do it, then we can do it.
Well, that's because they just put the blame on you then.
No, but that's the way we've been almost like programmed in this country.
Well, my missus said to me the other day, Britain's ideal for the lockdown. It like queue up to get in places and stand apart.
Exactly, and we taught when someone goes to the front of the queue, but we never go over and say to them, hey, what are you doing? We've been programmed for years to be like this in this country. So, if they just open the doors tomorrow, we will just go along with whatever. And we will all complain about it, but we won't actually do anything. Well, we're not French.
One of the other things is Man City are going to court, apparently, on the 8th and the 10th
of June to
appeal against their 2-year ban, which for me, how this is still a thing is beyond me. Certainly for the year, why didn't just put it back till next year? But I don't know. I mean, City are very confident they're going to win, and I'm very confident for them that they're going to win. To be honest, I think UEFA are a little bit stupid if they think that they're going to win this, because there's not. I personally don't see there's any way UEFA can win it. It's it's freedom of movement and everything you're stopping. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. UEFA have come up with the way to finish the Champions League as well, which, I mean, it's still a thing, the Champions League.
Well,
so they've reportedly agreed to a radical way of completing this season's Champions League. A working group comprised of European football governing body and the European Club Association. They're going to try and find a way of finishing the 2019-2020 season. AS have revealed the quarterfinals will be one-off games, with semi-finalists then going into a final four, which will be hosted in Istanbul. The semi-finals will be single matches to be held a few days later, and then the final 3 days after that. It'll be finished by the end of August, allowing players their usual 1 month off in September. The 2021
hang on.
Champions League season will begin in October.
So when they say they're having a month off, are they just saying a Champions League month off? Or are they saying everyone gets a month off?
So it's the usual 1 month off. Players get their usual 1 month off. There's been no official word.
So is that it? Hang on.
Kefren is consistent in his ambition to finish the Champions League in August.
So is that a hint that next season's not going to start till October? Or is that a
Possibly.
hint?
I think it might be the Champions League season ain't starting until October.
And then they're not really getting a break, though, are they?
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Well, you see, with that, you can't go like England, for argument's sake, finishes on July the 31st, just take a date, and then go, right, Everton, you finish on July the 31st, don't play again until October, because that's August and September, like longer than they'd have anyway. Which is berserk, because they've already just had nearly 3 months off. Then you're in for a month and off for another 2 months. So it doesn't make any sense. So I think that'll be the Champions League. I think what you're going to find is if this project restarts, we'll take 5 weeks probably to finish. So it'll be the end of it. And I think they'll get 2 weeks pre-season in August off.
I think they'll get a month. I think they'll get a month between the season finishing
and the new season.
I think they'll get 2 weeks to go on holiday and then 2 weeks for pre-season.
No holidays, obviously.
Well, they'll get a holiday.
Don't have to play, don't have to train for 2 weeks, and then there'll be a comeback for
Might be able to go somewhere.
In what, August?
Well,
do you think? They're talking about air bridges now, between countries that have got low. That's what it's tagged at.
What year are we in?
I know, that's what it's tagged at. So it's low risk to low risk. You can go.
Okay.
Without having to quarantine.
Okay. Let's just do some of the last couple of questions before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Gary Ward says, I think a lot will depend on how many test positive after a couple of weeks of playing in Germany. Yeah, of course. Because they've all got to stay in the quarantine sort of thing, haven't they? Richard Parr says, if all the players were tested and found negative before the match, how is it possible that some are now positive?
Who?
I don't know. In this country, well, they won't have been tested.
Do you mean in this country, Rich, or do you mean in Germany?
It's in this country.
No players have from the weekend at the moment are tested positive.
Matthew Barry, Paul Joyce saying 6 could be players or coaching staff. So I mean, it doesn't really matter either way, though.
No, but I think it'll be like 2 players and 4 coaching staff.
Don't know.
That's my breakdown.
You don't know.
It's clearly not all. They're not all players, are they? Quite clearly, because
don't know.
They just say 6 players.
I don't know. Adam Conroy, hi lads. Do you think when you have players breaking lockdown rules, whether this could cause problems in the dressing room? For example, arguments between players, which could affect the team on the pitch. If you break lockdown, you ain't playing. It's as simple as that.
Moving forward, or are you talking about the ones you've already done?
If the ones that have already happened, it's already happened. But the ones go now. If you break lockdown, you ain't playing. You ain't even getting you quarantined.
Lockdown might be changed again in 3 weeks, mightn't it?
But point being is, but not for footballers. footballers will have to adhere to strict rules. You've got to lessen.
What if the country's laws change in 2 weeks?
Got to lessen the risk of, because it doesn't matter whether the R's get loosened, we still have to have the social distancing from each other. So you can't put yourself in that position. For footballers, they will have to be examples. They are the examples.
They are, yeah.
And Sean says, hi lads, do you think the transfer window will change due to the season being delayed? Yeah.
What's due to?
Yeah, it'll finish. Won't start till the season finishes. I wouldn't have thought.
Unless they just say on, because then you'll be having clubs buying players who are still playing.
Conflict of interests, all that.
Probably just be open in August.
I don't think football clubs are probably internally they'd be thinking that way, but you know, they're not thinking that way at the moment. They're thinking, let's get this season done.
I guess once the games start up again, then the next stage will be like, what do we do with the market? But it'll probably be, wouldn't surprise me if it was a month of August. That's
I wouldn't worry about it at the moment. Richard said he thought the test were in Germany. Fair enough. No
mates in England.
They're in this country.
So
there you go. This has been today's Footy Show Daily. If you want to watch it live, like people are right now and commenting, join us over on Patreon. The link is in the description. Come over for a month and just see if you like it. You get 2 live shows, basically 4 days a week. Why wouldn't you? Loads of exclusives.
As well as all the other videos.
Full interviews, all the videos. So the link is in the description. Don't forget to give this video a like. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do. Thanks for watching. See you later.